is that when I don't care if it's public school or private school or whatever school environment you're in, teachers and department chairs and administrators are getting more and more pressure to give feedback. And I find it so strange that we're not training folks on, number one, what is feedback? Number two, how to give good feedback. And then also, to your point, not just giving the feedback, but receiving the feedback. And so I think one of the most common misconceptions that we see in schools is when people say feedback, what they often mean is what I would term judgment. And so again, the way that we separate these two, and again, you can watch the video if you're listening to this and you're curious about it. Maybe John can link to the video, but
we'll do that.
We think of feedback as what you can observe or what you can hear. So when you go into somebody's classroom, what you hear them saying, what you hear students saying, and then also what you can see with your eyes. And so when you're giving somebody feedback, all you're doing basically is playing a mirror. You're just mirroring back, here's what I saw, here's what I heard. And I think oftentimes in the world of education, when we use the word feedback, what we mean is our judgment about what we observed. Mm-hmm. This worked, this didn't work. Those are both judgments. Those students were engaged, those students were disengaged. Those are both judgments. And I think the difference really is that a judgment is not objective. A judgment is filled with your own bias. A judgment lacks the context that often is true in a feedback relationship. You're in your classroom 180 days all day long. I'm in your classroom for a half hour, right? It's really hard for my judgment to be accurate because I lack all of the context for understanding the situation in the way that you might have it as somebody who's in there every day. Now, I also have a perspective that you don't have, but it doesn't necessarily mean that my judgments are any more accurate. And so I think one of the most simple things people can do when you're giving feedback is just separate those two things from each other. So give feedback, meaning what you saw. And then I think in our video, what we really encourage people to do, because your judgments are highly inaccurate just by the nature of all the information that you lack, instead of telling them what your judgment is, it's really great to ask them what their judgment is about your observation. So the service that you're providing as a feedback giver is you're helping them see things that they may not be able to see.